Okay, we are live. Good morning, everybody. Good evening. It's this. How is everybody today? You loving or hating crypto today? Which way is the pendulum swinging?
Yeah, I wanna hear the crowd.
Hey,
Howdy from Kentucky, SC. It's not too far away from me. I'm in Cincinnati.
virtual was good to me today. Yeah, that popped, didn't it?
Yeah, gonna talk
Morning,
about that
morning,
one today.
morning. Hype, yeah, hype is
Dude, hype
on fire.
is on a tear today. Has
Hmm.
been for a week now. Well, for a while actually.
No, no. Rob Evans ended up decent 192 sold at 203. Nice. Hey Todd, good morning. All right. So just to start off then, I'm sure that everybody is aware. We've got the Trend Token updates group. So, aside from the daily emails that Scott sends, this is going to be the place where, you know, the information that we've got to give, it's going to be in this channel. I sent a direct message to everybody in the group, but Ian, you told us to turn off DMs because of scammers. You're absolutely right, I did. So there's a couple of ways that you can get your invite. One is you can turn your messages back on quickly, look for a message from me and join the group. The other one is in the 100X Club and on the home section as well. There is this video and there is an invite underneath this video to take you to the group. So that's three ways that you can do it. A fourth way that you could join is if you need to send an email to support and they'll send you a link to one of these posts here or here to join the group. So you want to have a quick read of the welcome post. Okay, it's not that long. And then the most important one that you want to get into is this AMA with Scott. Now, I've put a few of the most pertinent details, okay? Because I see, people send messages like, Ian, I know you're going to tell me to go and watch the video, but quickly, mate, please, is FinRev Silver with it? And it's like that information is already here, separate for you, because I know it's a question that you're going to ask. So if you don't want to watch the video, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch the video, then you can get, the basic big information from here. So these are the main Q&A that happened in the video, but it's not exhaustive, okay? So you need to watch the video for the full context, okay? So if you're AWC, AWCE, CSI, got a $500 bonus for this, got a this, got a that, got a this, got a that. The only confirmed packages are FinRev Gold and FinRev Platinum. Okay. So until the white paper is written, okay, everything that's in the video is intent. Okay. It's the intent to do this. So Scott and the dev team and Caroline, they're all in Brisbane and they're all meeting and they're putting together the huge action plan, and then things will get rolled out step by step. And then the place that you'll get the updates will be in this group here. Okay. So with that said, the vault is buzzing and we've got David here to have a quick chat about it. So if you've got any vault questions while David's talking, then pop it in.
Yeah, absolutely. So give me just a second. I prepared some I think I prepared a window that I should be able to screen share if my computer likes me. There we go. All right, let's do that one. There we go. Can you guys all see this?
You can.
Yep.
Okay. There we go. So, as you can see, the past month here, we are up approximately a massive amount of money here. 380,000 just in the past like 30 days here. Obviously, so this is all-time earned here. I know a lot of you guys have been asking, and we'll get into like what's been going on and everything, but I know like one question we keep getting a lot is, hey, if I put money in the vault, I see that we're almost back to, this number where we started. Cause I think when we started, we were at like 1.2 million. So we're, not that far below that right now. So why is this number still so big? Obviously yours will be a little bit different depending on how much you put in, right? But I wanted to show you our account and like what we're looking at because we're still in this drawdown. And the reason for that is people have deposited a lot of money while like we're back recovering it, right? So if we were to get back to where this number is zero, right, the break even point where we haven't made any money or lost any money, this number is actually going to be way higher than that 1.2 million that we started with because people have just been continuing to deposit. Some of you on this call may have been some of those people who've deposited after we opened up the vault, right? So the break even point is actually going to be close. I haven't actually done the math on this, but I'm just going to estimate or guesstimate something like 1.7 million, right? So we are still a little bit of a ways away from that. But as you can see, we are working really, really hard and doing a great job on getting back close to that number, right? So, I mean, at current rate, obviously this changes, this fluctuates. It's been like minus 280%. It's been as high as like 1100% was, I think, the highest I saw it, just based on it, how it calculates this rolling window here. But yeah, we're working really hard. The numbers are coming back. Everything is looking really good. And that was just a question we've been getting a lot. I wanted to clear that up for people. So if you're still like, it looks like the vault's almost back to where it started. Why am I still down money? That's why. And I'm showing you like on our end, we're in the same boat, right? But yeah, that's how it works, right? So basically where we're at is we need another 50% or so to like plus 50% to get everybody back to break even. We're right around that mark, right? And I think, if the market, again, we've talked about this on these calls before that, we take what the market gives us, right? And we've been doing that. And the market's been giving us a lot over the past like month or so, as you can see. If the market continues to do that, we are going to have absolutely no problem putting all of you in the green, no matter when you've deposited. That'll be, if the market continues to behave the way it has been, that'll be happening very, very soon. It won't take that long. Obviously, if the market slows down, starts stalling out, it might take a little bit longer, but this is the kind of progression we want to see, right? Like we like charts that go up and to the right, and this one looks pretty good at that. So, yeah, so I wanted to address that first, and then then Ian had told me that Scott had kind of jumped on and showed you guys through like why we're taking some of the positions. So if that's something that you guys want to do, we can go ahead and hop through, take a look at what we're holding and what we're doing right now. And I can sort of just do I don't want to take up too much of the time of this call, but we'll just do a quick little rundown and say like why we're looking at what we're doing and kind of how we're thinking about it. Does that sound good, Ian?
Awesome. Yeah. And there's a really good question from Todd, whenever you're ready, not to blow you off course.
Yeah, let's see. If you go to depositors, you can see that a few people are in profit. So my question is, does this act the same as a dollar cost average where it brings down your average? Yes. Yeah, that's exactly how that works, actually. So as of right now, as you saw, or as you can see, like that 30-day profit, right? If you had deposited 30 days ago, you're all profit. Like if you hadn't deposited before. If you deposited at the start and 30 days ago, your cost average point would be somewhere in the middle, and you'd probably be somewhere around break even. Last time I checked, I think about 30 to 35% of the people who have deposited into the vault are currently in profit, which is great for them. Obviously, we're not happy with that. We want it to be 100% of people, and that's what we're working towards. That's what we're getting to. But yes, that does work like a dollar cost average. Exact same principle there. And I know we've talked before also about, what's the best time to deposit into the vault? And the answer is we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. What we know right now, the market's been good. I'm hoping and I'm thinking the market will hopefully stay good. But we play the law of averages, right? So some days it's going to go good. Some days it's going to go bad. I can't tell you, like, if you're trying to time the performance of the vault, I can't do that. And I manage the vault. So, we just keep following our system. And sometimes the market gives us good results and sometimes the market gives us bad results. But on average, over time, the good results win. So, so that's what we're doing. And yeah, let's do a quick run through of kind of why we're holding what. I've got a couple tabs open on here. So first of all, we have Bitcoin. That's by far our largest position. The reason why we're long Bitcoin is because, first of all, Bitcoin's been going up, right? We started incorporating some elements of our trend system as well here. And obviously, Bitcoin, very strong uptrend here, very strong coin. The reason we have so much of it is because Bitcoin doesn't wiggle nearly as much as altcoins, right? So to achieve like a good, solid amount of growth, we need a much larger position, right? So as you can see, like we have a very large position in Bitcoin right here, right? But it's not wiggling nearly as much as some of the other stuff on this list. And that's why we're kind of sizing those positions so that we're matching approximately the same amount of wiggle going long and going short, right? Like where we're balancing the longs and the shorts against each other. And we're only taking the positions that we think wiggle a little bit more to one side than the other. So Bitcoin's our first one. It's our biggest position. TRX, Tron, very similar story. TRX, this chart is actually ridiculous. I don't know if you guys have talked about this, but if you look at this and zoom it out to the daily, that's just an uptrend that has been going for like literally years, right? Like this is the daily chart. Like look at that. That's been going since December of 22, just straight up and to the right, right? So we have a large position in TRX. Because it's very cheap to do so. For a while, it's been paying us funding, right? Anytime you see this red on the chart, that means it's paying us to be long it. So on average, like you average all this out, we're getting paid to be long, and it's going up, which is just a ridiculously great combination of things. So we're sitting in a pretty decent chunk of TRX. Sorry, where did my tab go? There we go. Ethereum, kind of the same thing. I like to meme personally about not holding Ethereum, but because I don't like it for a whole bunch of reasons. But the fact of the matter is, when the market gives you something, it gives you a signal, it doesn't matter how you feel about an asset, right? If the market, your system is saying you got to buy something or you got to sell something, you just got to do it. So that's what we've been doing. And, we caught this, I think we bought it somewhere around here. This is the daily chart. And it's going well, right? This looks like a great chart that for the time being, we want to be long. And, we'll adjust as and when necessary. The next thing is we're long hype. And this right here, as you can see, the biggest winner of late, right? Hype is, I'm sure you guys are all familiar, but I'll show you the chart anyways. Hype right here, we got some whale that's opening and closing billion-dollar positions. Every time he pays trading fees, they're buying the token back and putting it into the market. A whole bunch of other people are buying and trading on Hype or on Hyperliquid. They're generating a ton of revenue. A bunch of that revenue is just going straight back into the token. So this chart right here seems like a good thing. We want to be long. We have been, and it's paying beautifully. So that one's pretty straightforward. I'm not sure why the other two longs. We'll go through the rest of the longs first. Blast here. Let's take a look at that. Blast, we are in primarily because it is paying us a bunch of funding. See how, remember when I said like the red means like we're getting paid to be long this thing? And it's not really wiggling too much. Like it's kind of just chilling around right around here in the same area. So we bought it. I think it's down a little bit from where we bought in, but again, it's not really moving anywhere. And we're getting paid to hold it. So that's pretty much the reason for that one. So I'll show you this little page here, which is we have a little widget that just shows us the best paying things to be long and to be short. So this is something I rely on heavily. This is a tool that I have. It's quite useful. If you guys wanted to, you could go look at that link if you want. That's helpful. It does change very regularly though. So unless you're going to really, really actively be trading, I don't think it's probably going to be too helpful to most people, but maybe I'm wrong. Kaido is kind of similar story, right? Where it is paying us to be long. And it also happens to be going up, right? So, we're getting paid to be long. It's going up. Great combination of things. We love it. Simple, straight, and easy. Now, on the short side, again, because we're trying to balance out our long and our short exposures, right? So on net, we just want to have the part of the wiggle from the things that we expect will make our balance go up, right? So that's the whole goal of this strategy. So we have TON, which is the Telegram coin. I actually don't know too much about it, but we don't have to when we're trading. We just need to know what it's going to do to our portfolio. So this coin, very solid downtrend. So we're short that one. Now, since we're short this, the green is telling us we're getting paid to be short, right? So we're getting paid to be short. It's a coin that's in a downtrend. Easy peasy, rice and cheesy, right? So that's one of our short side trades. Launch coin here. This one I'm a little bit less happy with, right? This one's a little volatile. It's a newly launched coin that got listed on Binance, got listed on Hyperliquid. Usually these coins, as soon as on launch, they just die. They just go down. A bunch of these exchanges, especially Binance, is really well known for this. They kind of have like these sort of predatory mechanics, where as soon as you list something, they just want to dump it on your heads, right? So that was the bet we were taking on here. We are getting paid to be short this, right? Because as you can see, the funding rate is really high. We get paid to be selling this. It's been very volatile though, and so right now we're in a bit of a drawdown. So that one hasn't been performing as well as we would have hoped. But again, this is what the system says. When the system gives me a signal, I just have to take it. I don't know what's going to happen afterwards, right? So that one, unfortunately, is probably the one position I'm not happy about in the portfolio right now. Again, we talked about Blast. It's in a little bit of a drawdown, but it sure makes plenty of sense to be in that one. Launchcoin, I'm a little bit less happy with. NXPC. This one is another one that just got launched on a bunch of exchanges. I have no idea what it is, what it does, and again, it doesn't matter. This one we're short. This one we started shorting as soon as it kind of went like this, right? And we're getting paid. We're getting paid to be short, or we're getting paid a little bit to be short, not a lot, but a little bit. And let's zoom it down since this is a recent coin to the 4 hours. And you look at this downtrend. That's went from 290 down to 2, and at one point down to like 181. Seems to be a good thing to be selling. So finally we have TIA, or not finally, we have a couple more, but we have TIA here. TIA is also just in a big old downtrend. It kind of swings a little bit back and forth. It's paying us a little bit to be short, but this is one where the trend signal is coming in a little bit, and it's saying like, hey, we have an expectation that it's going to keep going down. So we listen to the system, we put it on, and it's making us some money. So we have Dude. Dude was a very recent launch. I'm not even going to bother showing you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but Dude and Prompt, same things as Launchcoin and NXPC. They're paying us to be short. They're going down. The recent listings, pretty safe bets. As you can see, Dude has just been paying us like a ton of money. And yeah, that's kind of the reasoning behind the things we have in the portfolio, kind of what we're up to now. It's clearly been working very, very well recently. And again, fingers crossed. We can't control what the market's about to do, but this is the kind of performance we like to be able to show you guys, because this is we've kind of talked about how we launched this and we just immediately got hammered. Everybody knows that, but this is more like what we expect this to look like a little bit more often. I will say this is a little bit better than is what's normally going to happen in the vault. But that's what tends to happen. When things go really badly, then when it changes, it tends to go really well. And so most of the time, like your average, if you were to take an average 30-day period, we'd be up a bit. Maybe not this much, but we'd be up a bit, right? The whole point of this is we're making the money back, guys. Like I told you, I'm not getting paid till it happens. I want to get paid. I don't know about you guys. I like money. And we're well on the path to making it. So
really, that was absolutely fantastic. There's a couple of questions. I'll read them out just for brevity. So from Rob Evans, how do you know if funding rates are paid by you or to be received by you? It seems that all the rates shown on Hyperliquid show those rates in green.
So the answer is it will either have a plus side. It'll either just be like a number, or it'll have a negative number, right? So it'll be a positive number or a negative number. If the number is positive, it's going to show that means that longs have to pay shorts, right? So if the number is positive, the longs are paying the shorts. If the number is negative, the shorts are paying the longs.
Nice. Could you post the link to the dev sheet that you showed?
Yeah, not a problem. Give me just a minute. Where am I? There we go. Let me put that in the chat here.
All right, nice. That was awesome, David. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I think it's a perfect time to to Seguin to Maurizio.
Yes, sir.
Hey guys.
Let me get rid of my
Awesome.
screen share here.
No, but that's good, man. David, that's amazing. Yeah, Bolt is doing great, man. Glad to see that is working, right? It's one of those things, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, you keep doing the system, and that's what it is, right? So
Yep.
don't get emotional, guys. That's what I've been saying. You know, don't get emotional, because that trading is an emotional game. You get emotional, you lose, right? Anyway, all right, let me just share my screen and let's go through a few things. We took some positions on last week. Virgil, I think, yeah, let me go through the mindset of why I took them. Do you guys see my screen now?
Not yet. We still see your handsome boat race. Boat race, Chevy Chase. There we go.
All right, sweet. Cool. All right, let's start with Bitcoin, right? Let's start with the stuff that I'm watching closely, and this is where I'm at, Bitcoin. So let's go through the weekly on Bitcoin. Why Bitcoin? Obviously, because we gotta make sure that, you know, everything is following Bitcoin at the end of the day. If Bitcoin starts dropping, like what happened on Friday night or Saturday, right? Everything is gonna drop, right? So very, very close out looking what the likelihood of Bitcoin going up and down. Let me ask you guys the question, like, if you see this chart, this is the weekly chart, right? Do you guys think, or what are the odds that Bitcoin will continue its uptrend this week? Like we do this, right? Let me just, because this is where I'm at the moment. Like we are, a lot of people is on the sidelines. So you guys think 60% up, 70, 25, right? Okay. Anyone else? Let me just, where's my brush? All right, here. 5%, 70%. So, all right, yeah, we have these scenarios, right? Bitcoin keeps doing this, Bitcoin doing this, and Bitcoin doing this. Kind of, right? Those are the three scenarios that we have, right? Would you agree with me or not really? We also have the scenario of Bitcoin doing this, right? Okay, so that's kind of four scenarios we have, right? One, this has the bounce up to these levels and bounce, right? One that is range, and then the other one that has continuation. Okay, which one is going to be? So Marlon says, don't really see it sideways. Yes, I agree. All right, so this is where we start attaching probabilities to it, right? And then that's how we play the market, right? How probable, what are the probabilities we have that this is going to have continuation? We're going to be on range, or we're going to, you know, have a pullback and then explode, or then just going to, you know, there's a lot of FUD at the moment in terms of like everything is over, this is the top, whatever. You know, can that happen? Yes, of course. I cannot rule that out, right? So those are the four scenarios that I'm playing with, right? In my mind, right, if we start looking at the data, at the possibilities of what we have, let's go back to the daily, right? And on the daily, right, we have a very, very strong upside trend, right? That's non-deniable. The thing that I like to play is like always trend is your friend, right? And trend, at some point, the trend is going to give up, right? But when is that going to happen? We don't know, to be honest, right? So I'll keep playing the trend until the trend fails. And then when the trend fails, then we'll reanalyze. That's kind of the game that I'm playing, you know what I mean? And that's kind of taking it from a very simplistic perspective. However, you have to be mindful that this have continuation, and it could actually continue all the way up to 120, 150. Who knows? Why? Who knows? Because now, technically, from the technical analysis perspective, you would take this from the weekly, right? there is no, there is no ceiling technically, right? You know, there's no price, there's price discovery. That's what the price discovery is all about, like where Bitcoin is going to end up costing 150 to 100. Can this go to 200 tomorrow? Yes, it can, right? If something happens in Bitcoin and people start feeling FOMO and all the stuff, this definitely Bitcoin could actually start raising up tremendously, right? So that's kind of the game that we're playing when Bitcoin is actually at all-time highs, and this is where we are at the moment. So from the weekly perspective, we actually close below all-time highs. Okay, very important sort of signal to be aware. Okay, so it's just being aware. I'm keep playing the trend until we basically fail the trend, but we have to be mindful of signs of weakness, right? And this is kind of the first one, that we have this weekly actually closing below the all-time highs. Okay, very important. Now, if we look at the monthly, so obviously we kind of like 4 or 5 days away from the monthly close, but let's analyze this monthly now. So the monthly is going to be very crucial, because if we close above these all-time highs, there is a highly likelihood of high continuation from the monthly perspective, and that dictates a lot of the bigger trends, right? If we manage to close below, we could actually have either ranging or pullbacks, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing at the moment, right? So that's kind of the overall analysis. Now we start analyzing the open interest a little bit closer. Let's bring this back to daily, right? And this is what I want to see. This is what I see on the daily, right? To have continuation. So on the daily, over the weekend, we had this drop on Friday, Saturday and Sunday wasn't that was kind of okay. Like Bitcoin just had a recovery in the last kind of hour, sort of give or take. But I'm cognizant of the fact that we could actually range between these two levels here for a while, right? But that could be actually pretty positive if we start ranging, right? And then alts sort of keep appreciating in value, which means that we have rotation to alts, and that could actually fuel alts. So don't say that because Bitcoin is pulling back, then everything's gonna pull back. But the first reaction is going to be, in my view, like what always Bitcoin does and alts does. Is like, Bitcoin starts dropping and then alts will follow, right? That's kind of the thing that I'm watching closely, especially with the leverage positions that we have. I'm going to go through them a little bit and give you an outlook of what I'm watching for this week, perhaps. So yeah, that's where I'm at in terms of Bitcoin. If we have a look at the open interest, right? Open interest, it doesn't tell me anything. The only thing that just happened like an hour ago is we have this massive drop on open interest, but we have the price actually going up. What that means is we have liquidations to the upside. So if we do have continuation, then we could at least see at the level again, like the 111 range at the moment, right? So that's kind of where I'm tracking. Is Monday. Monday is choppy. Usually Monday, is where a lot of algos, weekly candles, closes, things like that. So there's a lot of things happening on Monday. Let's see what happens on Monday. Especially Monday and Tuesday, right? That with prices sort of goes stable in a way, right? So another one that I'm watching closely, obviously you guys know this one by now. I watch it every single day, right? And it's the spot volume, right? And spot volume doesn't look great. So what this tells me is that we do have a lot of leverage stuff driving the market, and when that happens, could be pretty. We could have ups and downs. We could have a lot of choppiness around the price action. So that's kind of what I'm tracking at the moment closely. Okay, another one that I'm watching as well is how CoinGlass the ETFs inflows. And okay, ETFs inflows start dropping a little bit. So obviously, unless we start seeing a lot of ETF inflows, this is basically, in my view, the fuel of Bitcoin, right? Besides Sailor buying and all this new stuff buying, ETF is also a good driver. The problem with this data is that it's delayed. So this data is actually 1 day old. So it gives you a guidance, but it's not, you know what I mean? You cannot actually predict anything because this could actually change in 2 seconds. So it's just guidelines, right? In terms of what's going on with this funding. With this let's call ETF inflows. Okay. So with that being said, still remaining bullish, right? Playing the trend, right? In summary, that's basically how I like to drive it. The only thing that I don't like about Bitcoin, right, in a smaller time frames is the fact that over the weekend, right, we actually tagged these lows here. Okay, this is actually something that I going to be cognizant of. If we have a look at the smaller time frames on the 4 hour, you can actually see these lows being run. That could be as a small deviation in order to actually come back, or that actually could be taken as a weakness, right? A trend is developed by lower lows, lower highs, higher lows, higher highs. What we have here in terms of 4 hours, we could have a lower high right here. If we don't have continuation, then we might see a little bit of weakness, at least to the 104. I will say even to the EMA 103. So I'll be very careful, you know what I mean, in placing any trades or anything like that with this price action. Market looked really, really good on Friday, but then obviously a lot of stuff happening with tariffs again, news on tariffs and things that Bitcoin had this drop. Let me just show you on small time frames on 15 minutes. Yeah, had this huge candle here. That was on Friday, right? Huge deviation to the downside. So that's what I'm kind of a little bit cognizant of how the market could react these couple of days, right? And yeah, so with that being said, let's go through and have a look at Ethereum. Now let's have a look at Total 3, because Total 3 is actually doing pretty good. Same deal. Total 3 is actually, we have this deviation here. It can either form a lower high here, which is actually is going to drive us either to the downside. So the ranges are forming, right? Or we can actually see here as a higher low. So this is a higher low. This is a higher low. This is a so that's how a trend is formed, right? But we are at the beginning is either this a lower high, which actually could actually give us a little bit of a pullback. You know what I mean? So this is, we are in a way in a developing range. So we don't know. I just have to be mindful of what the price action is going to give us for the next couple of days, but then nothing. I don't have any clear outlook of we'll have continuation, we will have no continuation. What I want to see though, let me just go. What I want to see is obviously alts breaking a little bit above this level, and that could provide this as a lower high for sure, and we have continuation to the upside. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm kind of tracking from the technical levels perspective, right? So with that being said, let me just talk about the positions that we took on Friday. Oh no, let's have a look at Ethereum first. Ethereum looks pretty good, man. Still very, as you can actually see that everything here, right? Everything looks pretty much the same, man. Like everything looks the same. Ethereum though looks very well supported in this area right here. So I will say that we're creating lower. Like if I analyze this price for what it is right now, say with a lower high here, we'll probably have a breakout. So that's why I'm playing breakouts, and I'm going to talk a little bit about playing breakouts and the dangers of breakouts, because breakouts could be very, very good to take, but some breakouts will fail, and you have to be mindful that you have to cut the positions over. Okay, so let me talk about a breakout that we took on Friday, and I might just cut it this week. Yeah, probably today or tomorrow. Let's have a look. Okay, so yeah, so that's where I'm at in terms of Ethereum. Let's see in the next couple of days what the price action develops, but it looks, so far it looks pretty good, man. So far it looks pretty solid. Like I don't see Like we have an uptrend pretty much across the board. In terms of Solana, same deal. You know what I mean? Like Solana is actually looking stronger, you know, but you can actually see that everything has the same sort of pattern, right? Only a few coins done, but yeah, just to show how correlated the market is at the moment. So that's why keeping track of Bitcoin, it definitely is going to give us the best sort of outlook of what's going to happen. Okay. If we have a look at the VIX, so the VIX is the volatility that I was looking on Friday. I want to see the VIX coming down. If this starts going up, I'll definitely start cutting some positions and things like that, because there's highly likelihood that we're going to have a drop in the S&P 500. And if we do, then probably Bitcoin will get affected. So yeah, that's what I'm tracking closely. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. Let's have a look at the positions that we took. So we took a position on Sundoc. So yeah, I was entering and preempting the breakout, which did not happen, right? And obviously I played very, very wide stop loss because the market could get volatile, especially with this type of coins. So the reason why we took this position is on the back of strength of TRX. So TRX, this is Sundoc first meme coin for the TRX sort of ecosystem taken away. So I will expect that on TRX's strength, this one is going to go nuts. That did not happen on Friday, but is consolidating now. Due to the fact that we're failing this, I might cut this position, right, with a little bit of a loss, right? Why? Because the breakout is not happening. Or you can either hold it, leave the stop loss as it is, you know, if you're in risk match, and then you know, hope for the breakout. But the fact that it did not happen, I'll see what the price action gives me, and I might just reassess when this actually breaks these levels here. That's what I'm looking for in this position. So I might cut this one with a little bit of a loss, because we might have, you know, continuation to the downside. So it's one of those things that I'm cognizant on that one. Same thing with Virtual. So Virtual, we took this breakout. Obviously, I took it from the 4-hour perspective. So Virtual actually, this thing's running crazy here. Okay, Virtual actually is looking good though. It's looking pretty good. But I'll be paying close attention to this, because on any weakness on Bitcoin, this one could actually keep dropping. But the thing that I like Virtual instead of Sundoc, to be honest. So Sundoc, more than likely I will cut it. It's quite risky, but Virtual has been very strong. And on a breakout, when we break this level, which came from this, I will expect that fill this efficiency quite fast, right? And more than likely, at least we're gonna get the 3.2 area sort of deal. So that's what I'm looking on this one. Besides that, yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching. Anything that I'm watching, I'm still watching the Sui ecosystem. So there was a hack incident on the Cetus chain that brings all the ecosystem down, but I'm still looking at Sui is holding pretty good. Deep is holding pretty good. Cetus, I wouldn't go into this one yet. There is a lot of uncertainty what happened with the hack and things like that. Can this one recover? Yes, definitely. But I'll keep an eye on this price action. Send still not doing anything. You know, we're still on a position on Send on spot. It's not doing anything because the ecosystem is not doing much. But on recovery, I think that's kind of the stuff that I'm looking forward to. Besides that, guys, looking at some memes, definitely. So obviously I'm looking at WIF still. You know, WIF looks pretty good, man, for the breakout. Bonk, where's my Bonk? Oh yeah, Bonk. Bonk looks pretty good. That was the position that I was going to do on Friday. I wouldn't been stopped out, but now I could, if today Bonk closes a little bit better, you know what I mean? Like we could actually, this could be actually the position for the week. Bonk and have stop loss around here or even closer here. And then, you know, Bonk and WIF, I'm seeing a lot of strength. So there's a high likelihood that we're going to need to break this level here on market strength. you know, but if Bitcoin decides to go down, this is definitely going to drag a little bit over. Essentially, that's it, guys. I'm not looking at anything else. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions, but besides that, that's kind of what I'm focusing at the moment. I'm gonna keep it simple for the time being. I'm not going into too much stuff to, you know, this week. There's a lot of uncertainty, so just playing it by what I'm seeing in terms of trend strength. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it for me, guys. Nothing much for me. Do you guys have any questions or?
Hey, Robert.
Jupe.
So
Let's
the,
have.
the weekly calls are recorded, Robert. I don't know if you've had a chance to look around the 100x Coin Club yet, but you'll see the weekly calls there. They're in the same place as the invite to the trend group, which is in the Start Here section, which has the welcome and it has the featured posts.
Jupe. Let's have a look at Jupe. So Jupe, yeah, I was following Jupe. I do like it. I do like this. Let me add it into the list, man. This could be an interesting one because I can see that this price is being front run. You know what I mean? It's creating lower highs. But as you can see, every single freaking coin is printing the same pattern, man. You know, this one is a little bit better. So this one gives me a little bit better sort of highlight because it's not that lower high kind of deal. You know, it's kind of breaking this range highs here. So this one, you know what? I really like Jupe. This one could be an interesting one, right? So be mindful that Jupe is very, very correlated with Solana. So if we have a look at Solana, so this being in Jupe is like 2x Solana in a way, right? Solana, if Solana remains strong, Jupe is going to definitely give us a really, really good outcome. So yeah, I really like it. I really like Jupe. Yeah. Let's have a look at STX. STX, not a fan of what I'm seeing at the moment. Obviously, I'm still seeing from the daily, right, lower highs here until proven otherwise. But this is when it gets confusing because you get higher lows, you know, which basically develops a trend upwards. But then you start seeing this kind of higher lower highs, which it could have a continuation to the downside. So which one is it going to be? Don't know, but this is not as clear as Jupe. Have a look at this one. So that's the main difference. That's why I like Jupe. You know, is sort of providing better structure, market structure, give or take. So this one wouldn't be a bad play, to be honest. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, STX nothing that I like in terms of setups or anything. Let me just go back to STX again. Yeah, STX, you know, something to be mindful is this candle here. So this gap in efficiency is quite big, right? So this, if you draw a box, that's kind of what I like to see, you know, breaking out of this range, you know, let me just draw it here. So that's an interesting, like whenever you see these massive spikes and things like that, that's basically inefficiencies, right? So market always sort of, you know, rejects out of that. So that could be a really good scalping strategy, by the way. You know, there's a highly likelihood that, you know, the first test on those kind of efficiencies is a sort of, you know, rejection, and then you can play shorts and things like that. But until actually breaking completely that structure, then long-term perspective stacks up still not, yeah, doesn't sort of fall into a really good market structure sort of deal. So yeah. Can you show your Velo chart page to show tips how to see what kind of volume is flowing into the section you're gonna show? Let's have a look. So if you got a Velo, right? If you got a Velo, then once you got a Velo, Velo.xyz, then you go into market, right? Market. And then once you go on market, then you have all these charts. Yeah, you get the returns, the weekly returns buckets. You get the price changes. This is the price changes of the top gainers. You can actually do top gainers, top losers, top volume, new listings, large caps, whatever you want to trade, right? What I'm looking for is kind of the top gainers, right? To actually, these are the ones that are actually trending more than likely. But then underneath you have the sector performance. So sector performance is really interesting because you could see what's actually, what's hot, what narrative, right, is kind of hot. So you can go from monthly to weeks, 1 week, 1 day, 4 hours, 1 hourly. So if you, I usually start top down. So on the last month, what's been hot, right? So if you go on the last month, so memes have been hot, like that's the hottest market. That's why we decided to go into Sundog and meme stuff instead of AI or anything like that. Then you go DeFi, then L1s, then AI, and then gaming. But you can actually see that the performance is actually very close, but definitely memes outperform in the last month. Then you go into the 2 weeks sort of window and you start doing the same thing. So the interesting thing is I can see that in the last 2 weeks, DeFi starts to gain a little bit more traction while memes are actually losing some track. The only thing to be aware is, that when memes catch attention, they go really strong, really quick. Okay, that's one of the things about memes. Okay, so and then you start going 1 week, right? So last week, essentially, DeFi is still in leading, and if you go over here, like I'm used, if you go over the line, it tells you which ones are strongest. So you got Jupe, 1inch, Uni, Aave, and Maker. Okay, so interesting that Jupe is there. Interesting. Thank you for whoever wanted to point it out. So Jupe, you know what, is going to go into my close watch list. So Jupe's going good. Then AI, so you got Near, Tau, Renda, Fed, obviously the majors, but then something to be aware, if AI starts gaining some traction, then I'll be looking to AI 116, all the AI agent stuff, Cerebro, AXBT, all that sort of stuff, and maybe get some place on that one, right? And then you can either bring it a little bit lower. I don't go any lower unless you do a scalping, but if you go on the daily kind of, right, you see what the narrative could look like for the day or for the week. And that's basically gaming. So yeah, that's basically something that I watch pretty much every single day to make sure to just track what's hot, right? I hope that's all good. And yeah, it's all free for anyone. This is completely free, and it gives you a really good overview of the market or what the market is doing at the moment. Okay. Another important tool that I watch, right? Yeah, Scott. Yeah, Todd. Yeah, scalping is great, man. Obviously, yeah, you could do that definitely. Figure out which narratives hot on a daily, focus on those coins, and then draw some areas of interest and play rejections or play breakouts or whatever. That's actually a pretty good strategy, right? So yeah, all right. Someone actually talked Dogecoin. Ooh, haven't looked at Dogecoin for a while. Have a look at Dogecoin. Funny enough, Dutch looks pretty okay. It looks pretty sustained on this level here. So it's kind of being front run. I don't like these lows being taken out. But it looks pretty okay. It looks pretty okay. I think on market strength, I think Dodge could did, but it's still guys, every single freaking coin is printing the same thing, the same sort of daily pattern, right? So obviously probably Jupe, funny enough, is the one that it's not kind of, it's sort of giving us a different pattern, right? So that probably indicates strength. But then if you start looking at all the stuff like with is pretty much very similar to Jupe. So funny enough, let me just draw these lines here as we go, because on market strength, I think with, let me just move Jupe to the top here. Let's have a look at CAS, because I was looking at that one. Same deal here, that's not good. Sun, not good either. Filecoin, Filecoin looks pretty good, man. Filecoin looks pretty good. Let me just move this to the upside as well. A116. Yes, same structure, same thing. So yeah, you get the gist. Another one that I'm watching is Grass. So I'm gonna something that I want to add is I want to buy more. I was thinking of buying in this area, right? We bought a while back in January in here, but I think on market strength, it's not a bad idea to add more into Grass. So that's why I have it in my list from the spot perspective, because this one could definitely will have continuation. This one has good fundamentals as well. It has a good revenue scheme. So, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So probably around this area. I was thinking about buying on Friday around this area, but still haven't sort of gone. So this is kind of my quick watch list. Okay. So yeah, okay. So Mark said, are we going to do a session of how to use vol and open interest and fund this for scalping? Yes, we are. I owe you that one, huh? Yeah, I think we'll definitely organize it. I don't know. We can do a next week though. Definitely. But yeah, the miles, that will be a good one. It will be very, very, very interesting, because obviously scalping you can do it in 5 minutes or 15 minutes, but you have to be very quick. So yeah, I'll organize with Ian, and then we'll figure that one out. Todd, Dutch looks like it could one of the familiar people coins break starting bull run. I have noticed coins that currently look like they are sitting on a bull daily. Yeah, I agree, Todd, definitely. So yeah, let me add that into the watch list here. All right, so I'll add that. Yeah, Dutch could be really good. The reason why Dutch is not in the watch list is because we already are on Dutch. We're on Dutch a while, like we're still on the leverage position on Dutch a while back. Yeah, this was our position on Dutch, like on leverage, and we've been taking some profit across the line. Like we've run out of risk reward ratchets on this one. This is actually this was one of the greatest trades that we did last cycle in a way. So that's why I'm not fast with Dutch or re-entering Dutch, but I think I should, right? If you guys didn't take this trade, then we could start figuring out a different way to trade this one from where it is at the moment. And where it is at the moment is actually, you know what? No, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. I'll keep an eye on this one. I'll keep an eye on this one, because on strength, a good leverage play will be probably, like this, right? And you're talking about, if market does not have continuation to the upside, then you risk whatever risk you do from here to here, you lose technically. But on market continuation and on this one actually breaking out, at least we're gonna get to these levels here. So it's 1 to 10, right? So you risk 1%, you make 10% of your account. If you risk 10%, you make 100% of your account. As simple as that, right? So depends on how much risk you have. So this is not a bad one. I'll keep it on my list, man. Thank you for pointing it out. Right. All right. I think that's it then. SXT. SXT. Which one is this one? I have no idea which is this one. SXT. No idea. I'll look into it. It looks like it's a brand new launch or some XXT. Haven't heard of this one yet. Let me add it into the watch list to look for it. But yeah, don't know. Need to find out more. All right. I think that's it, guys. That's it for me. Yeah,
Awesome
just
stuff. Look forward to your updates, Maurizio.
no worries, mate. Okay.
Ta-da.
Cheers.